It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.
In studio with me right now, Dr. Jenna Moller, the principal of Central Middle School. You've been on before. Welcome back.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So it's been a couple of years now that you've been over there, correct?
Yep. I'm going into year 2 as principal, and then this is my 3rd year at the building. I was there for 1 year as an AP. Okay.
So we just asked Coach Ram of Evergreen Park High School this on the last coaches show right before the weekend hit. So I'll ask you the same question. After being there for a few years, people get used to your system. He kind of talked about that like his team is more his team and they've been around him a couple years. Is it like that for a principal too?
Absolutely. It feels really good going into year 2, starting off really strong. Teachers know our system. Students know our expectations. Families are used to our communication. And I feel like you're able to go in. I'm going in feeling more confident. And then also the building this year I've really noticed feels different in a good way. It feels lighter. It feels like everyone's on the same page and it feels really good. Even like at the end, Friday. So like, let's think of last week. You would think that like after a full week of teaching, we're getting back into the swing of things, that like teachers would be really exhausted and like ready for the weekend, really like ready to sleep, whatever it is. But you still see them at 3:25 saying bye to the students, smiling, giggling at each other. And to me, that just says a lot about the culture and climate that we have at Central.
I mentioned that to Dr. Jenna Woodland, the superintendent, when she was in here last time, that I had driven down 95th Street and I saw like a gaggle of teachers just all smiling, walking around. They were doing something, but they were all like in a group. And I was like, that's kind of a happy bunch. I mean, yep. It may sound trivial to people listening, but that's important, right? Like if you have happy employees and teachers that enjoy teaching, that has to rub off on the kids, right?
100%, especially when we look at like educational research. One of the main contributors to how much students learn is teacher quality and teacher capacity. And so if we want teachers to be the best teachers they can be and like really give high quality tier 1 instruction, we do need to make sure we're meeting their social emotional needs too. And so I have seen a change just in staff, just like their camaraderie, their collaboration, and all of that then has a positive impact on the kids.
Because you got to think that a teacher got into it because they wanted to do something positive, right? Like I always thought, as I got older, I thought that way. Like when I was younger, my teachers were all evil in my mind, right? They were all terrible. I went to a school that had nuns still teaching. They scared the bejesus out of me, right? And then I had teachers that I shudder when I think of them. They scared me, right? And as I get older, I realize when they got into it, they had every intention of just being happy and hanging with kids. Like they made a conscious choice to be around children. And it's important to not let them get, jaded or to feel overwhelmed, because that changes everything, doesn't it?
Correct. And what really makes a difference at Central is just that teachers feel supported by administration, both at the building level and at the district level. And so I think a core part of that is just being really responsive to teachers by soliciting feedback, being present in the hallways, and really just listening, like asking teachers, how's it going? How are the first couple of weeks going? What are you noticing? And really taking their feedback and then modifying accordingly.
All right, so you've got your happy teachers.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. And they kind of have to be happy when they're in that building. We've talked about it a few times now with the superintendent. There seems to have been a determination that a new building is needed over there. And so you're the principal of that school.
Yep.
You probably heard me talk about it on the podcast. I brought it up when I was part of the task force or whatever it was of community people that went in there blind, not even knowing what we were looking at.
Right.
And I thought to myself, wow, I mean, there be conflict every day with the doors opening into the hallways and the really thin ways that you have to move around. And I think that there's actually a section of the school where the only way you get to those classrooms is to walk through somebody else's classroom, which is insane. So first, what do you feel about the new building? And second, how are you dealing with it now here, year 2? You've learned about this building and its obvious shortcomings. How do you deal with those until you get a new building?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll talk about the first part first. So I have been manifesting a new building as well. I think that the kids and the teachers really deserve it. And it's even things that like you don't really think about. So like we have AC units, and if it's really hot, so like if we have a 90-degree day and the AC is on, if you're in a classroom and kids are talking to each other, like as I'm walking around trying to listen in to the conversations, it's so hard to hear. So like if I'm in the back of the room and the teacher's in the front of the room, I actually can't hear the instruction at all if the AC is on. And then if you turn the AC off, then it gets really hot and now everyone is sweating.
And they don't want to learn then because they're dying of heat.
Correct.
So there's no solution is the unfortunate thing, yeah.
Right. So it's even little things like that you wouldn't really think about. And then in the hallways, when you have kids at their lockers trying to get stuff and get ready for the day, but you have the doors open because we do have teachers greeting all the kids. So the doors are always open during passing period. And then there are what we call hot spots. So as kids come down one stairwell and you have to go on the main floor, but then also go down to the gym hallway. So it creates then traffic jams because you have 3 flows of traffic meeting in one area. And so it's not ideal. However, we are in the building, so we do have to be responsive to kind of those things. So one of our current hotspots is, and if you've been to Central, you'll know, is right by the band room. So we have a stairwell that's going down, and we have students that are coming down there from the 2nd floor going to the basement. But we also have kids that are coming from the library and going to the gym.
I remember this from the tour and sitting there going, this looks like an impossible thing. I mean, think of the stress that's put on the kids just trying to get to class. That's insane.
Yeah. And so this year we now have, 6th grade PE, we've rerouted them. So instead of going in that hallway, they go to the basement and then go up a different stairwell. So we're making like adjustments, but as you just heard, then we're sending PE on a detour essentially to go down to the basement to come back up.
Which is kind of a dungeon.
Yes, to avoid the traffic
jam. Your
jam.
basement's a dungeon.
Yeah.
There's a smell.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It really is
no
unfortunate.
Light. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. I have such a hard time on this show, with this subject matter because I think you're doing a great job over there. And I actually when I went and learned about the school and what you guys were doing just to deal with the problems in the building, it was impressive to me. You're doing everything you can and they're getting a good quality education. But on the other hand, it's I want to continuously point out it shouldn't be this hard for you, So then I'm and the smell, and it's this thing where I don't want to be oh, well, CMS is a terrible school. It's not, because you have really good teachers. You're doing the best you can with your facilities, but this is why you're manifesting a new building, because it's a problem on a day-to-day basis you have to tackle.
Right. We need bigger hallways, bigger stairwells, central air, you know what I mean? It's really bare minimum stuff to just make sure that kids are able to access the best quality education they can.
Yeah. Any new initiatives this year or things that you started last year that you're excited are kind of coming together?
Yeah. Well, there are 2 things I really want to hit on. So starting at the end of my first year as assistant principal, when I knew I was transitioning to principal, we started this whole school improvement planning process, which was really important to me just because I'm very goal oriented. And I feel if we all want to, one, ensure that students are learning and growing and also feeling safe at school, we have to have clear goals and clear action items. And so we have our school improvement team, which is made up of staff members, so teachers, but also social workers and anyone else who wants to join, and administration. And we do a deep dive every year and look at all the data. So we look at where we currently are with our academics, our behavior, our attendance, our culture and climate as reported by both staff and students. And then as a group, we make SMART goals essentially. So goals that are data driven, have an end. And then we also articulate clear action items. And so all of the work that we do in all of our different committees are geared towards reaching our goals. And so we did see a lot of progress last year in our building, because it's not like throwing whatever the expression is, spaghetti on the wall. It's everything is really working together to be able to make CMS the best place it can be. So I'm really excited about that. And then the other thing that we're being really intentional about is just celebrating students and reinforcing positive behavior. Middle school is a challenging time for any kid, no matter what school you go to.
The most uncomfortable I ever was in middle school.
Correct. Yeah. And so we really want to make sure that we're finding ways that students can be happy and excited about middle school, just because with the hormones and the changes of friends, it can be really stressful for them. So we do a lot of really fun stuff for the kids. We have, at the end of the year, we do a student excellence breakfast where we invite parents, which is really nice. We do monthly out of the blue days. And again, that's based on on like what we're seeing. So like if 6th grade is really struggling with having a charged Chromebook, then one random day of the month we would in advisory, if your Chromebook is 90% or above, you get, ice cream at lunch. So we do random out of the blue days. We always share birthdays on the announcements. So in the announcements in the morning, we'll say happy birthday to everyone who has a birthday. All the teachers and administration welcome students at the door. So that starts from like once they arrive on campus at 8:30 to the end of the day. We're constantly in the hallways saying good morning, good afternoon, how's it going? We started a dean's list last year, which was really valuable. We have the high honor roll and the honor roll. For 8th grade, we do at the end of the year an 8th grade awards where we invite families in to celebrate the kids. We do these really fun quarterly incentive assemblies. So we have all of these games like tug of war, dodgeball. If you can think of like Hungry Hungry Hippos, the game you used to play as a kid, we do that, but like with real people.
Wait a minute, I'm sorry. You got somebody holding somebody's feet and they're out there.
Yes. And they're holding like a laundry basket. And
I was joking. You're really doing it. That's crazy. Oh,
and they're on a scooter.
I want video
really
of that. Oh, my goodness.
It's really fun.
Okay.
The kids laugh and they think that it's really, really fun. We do live school points. So kids, if they meet expectations, teachers give them points and then they can cash those points in at the live school store where they can get fidgets and pens. And the most popular is always the chips, the hot Cheetos. The kids love that. So they cash their points in for that. We have dances, and then we're also doing field trips. Even this week, the kids are going to the historical exhibit at the Historical Commission, the exhibit on Evergreen, to learn about the history of Evergreen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's really fun.
That's really nice. Yeah, I was curious what your take was on this, and if you're like, I don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, go ahead and tell me it. But did you feel just a little bit of relief when you saw that the village did the thing with the bikes and the scooters? Because like I have a nephew who was showing me pictures over the weekend of one of his friends in Beverly who just hit a small pothole riding one of those scooters, went over it, and his arm was broken in 4 places with 4 different spots where the bone had come out.
That's
and
so
like
scary.
he's going to be messed up forever. And you as a principal probably saw these things zipping around your school, and it kind of probably saved you from having to worry about it so much because now all of a sudden they have those new rules.
Yes, I do appreciate the new rules. Over the summer, I saw them coming out each town. I read about like them putting that into place, and I was wondering if Evergreen was going to do that. We didn't have many issues with the scooters last year, but I do think especially because when you do see kids on the scooters, they're often not wearing helmets. It can just be really scary to make sure that kids are safe. So absolutely, I'm so on board with that. And so far, we haven't had any issues with it. So.
All right. So now I would imagine you're in the good phase now. Like the initial opening of the school is over. It's fall time. You kind of have things moving along. Is this one of the, I don't want to say easier, but the most like take a breath. The year has started now. Whew, enjoy it kind of. Is that what this time is now for you?
It's funny you say that because I catch myself always being like, wow, this is a really hard time of year because every year has its like, challenges. I would say the first few weeks of school are really ensuring that like everything is set up and communication is clear to both teachers and students. So like we just got through all of our expectation reboots and all of that. Now, though, we're transitioning into like the honeymoon period is over. So like we do see always typically like an uptick in behavior, kids kind of testing boundaries. And so that's what we're going to see now. And then also it's evaluation season with teachers. So really focusing on like high quality instruction.
So really not an easy time.
So
for
no,
you.
I mean, it feels good, but no, it's not an easy time. No.
It's hysterical. Well, it sounds like you have it all in hand. It sounds like you have a plan. You're a very organized person. I got that impression off of you the first time that you were down here. And it sounds like you're doing a very good job in a building that definitely needs to be replaced. I keep bringing it up whenever I have somebody from D124 here on the show because it was so obvious to me when I walked through there, and I think to everybody else that walked around it over the summer. And I know that you guys are giving tours and you want people to see the building because you want them to understand what we're talking about on this show and what you're telling members of the community. So people should reach out. I think to the superintendent said she's just gonna show anybody the building who wants to see it.
Yep.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
Have you seen any tours yet? that? Is she giving tours around the building?
Yeah, actually at the back to school bash, I think she did maybe like 20 or 25 tours.
That's awesome.
And she said she was able to convince some people that, yes, we need a new building. So I definitely think if you're on the fence, come to Central and check it out and you'll have your answer.
That's awesome. Dr. Jenna Moller, your principal over at CMS. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
It's the EP Podcast. All things Evergreen Park. It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.